Hello students, good evening everyone. I hope all are doing well. Welcome to Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. This is me Surya, your chemistry faculty from Infinity Learn. Okay, I hope I am perfectly audible and visible to each and everyone present over here. Those who are watching the particular session, just mark your attendance here. Just give me hi in the comments. In the last session, we have discussed about we have revised the first chapter, right? Chemical reactions and equations. Here in this session, I am going to revise the second chapter, acid, bases and salts through some questions, right? Some previous earlier questions I have already taken. So what are the important topics we have studied in the acids, bases and salts? The name itself, right? We have studied about the acids, we have studied about the bases. Then whenever acids and bases are combined together, they will be forming a salt by the neutralization reaction, right? So we have studied about the salts also. In the end of this chapter or the finishing part of the chapter, we have discussed about the different compounds, right? Gypsum, plaster of Paris, bleaching powder, washing soda, baking soda, right? So these are the overall outlook of this chapter. So we are going to discuss our first question from the chapter. So this is the question answer session. Those who are watching, please try to respond. So here is the first question. Three different statements are given here according to our idea of acids, bases and salt. You need to identify whether these three statements are correct or wrong, correct or incorrect. So read the statements one by one. First statement is given: during indigestion, the pH of our gastric juice is below 1.4. And the second statement is given: the pH of our blood is in the range of 7.36 into 7.36 and 7.42 range. Then the statement C is given: when the pH of our mouth is below 5.5, the tooth will start decaying. So we need to identify whether the statements are correct or incorrect according to our idea of acids, bases and salts. So what about the case of first statement? As we already know, our gastric juice contains the hydrochloric acid, right? Hydrochloric acid will be having the pH less than 7. So obviously it will be having the pH less than 7, that is 1.4. This first statement is true, right? First statement is true. What about the case of second statement? The pH of our blood, right? In our textbook is already given the pH of different solutions like saliva, gastric juice and blood. As you can see over there, the range of pH range of the blood is almost around 7.36 and 7.42. It will be in between 7.36 and 7.42. So this statement is also true. What about the case of third statement? So whenever we start eating any of the food, right? If we start eating any of the food, what will happen to the, if you are, most probably if you are taking the sugary foods, they will be reacting with our mouth, right? They will react with the mouth to form the lactic acid, right? Lactic acid is having the pH of less than 7. It's almost around 5.5, right? 5.5. So this will start reacting with our enamel of our tooth, right? Enamel of our teeth or tooth. So it will start decaying. So the third statement is also correct according to our idea. So what will be our correct answer? All the three statements are correct, right? So option A will be the correct answer. A, B and C are correct. Okay, I hope you understand. Now we are moving to the second question. Which of the following explains the phenomenon where a salt X when dissociates in water gives a clear solution which turns red litmus blue? So in the case of acid, base and salts, we have studied about the indicators, right? Indicators, we have studied about the litmus test. So in the case of acid or base solution, what is the litmus change, right? There will be two types of litmus paper present, blue litmus and the red litmus, right? So here, according to our question, some of the clear solution, right? Some of the solution when it will react to form or it turns the red litmus to blue. What is the nature of that solution? Whether it is acidic or basic. Is there anyone watching the session? Just give your answers in comments so that I can understand. So here answer C will be the correct answer. The salt X is basic, right? There will be two types of litmus paper present. One is red litmus and another one is blue litmus, right? So if you are taking the red litmus, if you are adding any of the solution, if it turns the red litmus to blue, the nature of the solution will be base or basic. Clear? Then what about the case of blue litmus to red? If I am taking blue litmus, if I am taking any of the solution placed on the blue litmus paper, it will be turning to red color, which means that it will be an acid solution. So in our question, the solution, salt X is turned the red litmus to blue because it will be a basic solution. So answer C will be the correct answer. And what will be the nature of base? We will be defining acids and bases in the presence of H plus ions or OH minus ion, right? So in the case of bases, there will be presence of OH minus, right? Whenever we are treating the base in presence of water or hydrolysis, right, they will produce more OH minus ions, so that they are known as the bases or alkalis. Okay, I hope you understand. Now we are moving to the next question. So after discussing about the acids and bases, we have studied about the concept of pH, right? Concept of pH, how to find out the pH of a solution. So here, if the H plus ion concentration of the solution is 10 to the power minus 7 molar, what will be the pH of that solution? Or what will be the nature of the solution? Options are given here: acidic, basic, neutral, and none of these. So we have studied how to find out the value of pH, right? I hope you must have studied. So pH will be equal to negative logarithm of the H plus ion concentration, right? H plus ion concentration. So if you are taking here, it is negative logarithm of 10 to the power minus 7. So it will be, answer will be equal to plus 7. Right? Plus 7. So in the base of pH, we will be dividing the solution into three different solutions, right? One is acidic, one is basic, and other one is a neutral solution. So those who are having the pH 7 is known as the neutral solution. If the pH is greater than 7, it will be considered as the basic solution. If the pH is less than 7, it will be considered as the acidic solution. This is a pH scale. Depending upon the pH value, we can identify whether the solution is neutral, acidic or basic. So now we can identify the solution which is containing H plus ion concentration is 10 to the power minus 7. Then what will be their nature? What will be the nature? It will be neutral, right? Because pH is equal to 7 here. 7 means neutral solution. So option C will be the correct answer. Amardeep, this is the pH scale, right? If the pH is equal to 7, the solution is known as a neutral solution. If the pH is greater than 7, if it is 8, 9, 10 or 11 to 14, right, then it will be considered as a basic solution. If the pH is less than 7, like 0 to 6, right, it will be considered as the acidic solution. So according to our question, the H plus ion concentration is 10 to the power minus 7. So we have studied it is the pH is equal to 7 here. 7 means it will be the neutral solution. Okay, I hope you understand. Amardeep Singh. Now we are moving to our next question. Read the question carefully. A solution turns blue litmus to red, then the pH of the solution is. According to the litmus test, we have defined the acid and bases, right? Whether it is turning to blue litmus to red or red litmus to blue. So you need to identify whether the solution is acid or base, acid, base or neutral. Then you need to identify the pH of the solution. So which solution is turning the blue litmus to red? So blue to red means it is the acidic solution which will turns the blue litmus to red litmus. Then what will be the pH of the solution? Whether it is less than 7 or more than 7. According to our pH scale. pH should be less than 7, right? pH should be less than 7. So according to our options, which are the numbers less than 7? So only option D, right? It is 6. So we will be considered option D as the correct answer here. Okay, I hope you understand. Now we are moving to the next question. Read the question carefully. Which is more basic or more alkaline? A solution with pH is equal to 8 and another solution with pH is equal to 11. Read the question carefully. It is asking about which is more basic or more alkaline. So what will be the answer for this question? So both are basic in nature, right? Both are basic in nature because the pH is always greater than 7 here. So according to our pH scale, we know that whenever pH is greater than 7, it will be considered as an alkaline solution or the basic solution. So while comparing the values here, pH is equal to 8 is a less alkaline as compared to pH is equal to 11, right? So this will be the solution which is having the more alkaline. The solution with pH is equal to 11, which means option B will be the correct answer here. So option B will be the correct answer here. It's purely based on the pH scale. The main basis of the acid, bases and salts according to pH scale is that if the pH is equal to 7, it will be neutral solution. If the pH is greater than 7, it will be basic solution. If the pH is less than 7, it will be considered as the acidic solution. So depending upon the value, it will be changes as weak acid, strong acid, or weak base or strong base. Okay, I hope you understand. Here is our next question. In order to protect the tooth decay, we are advised to brush our teeth regularly. The nature of the toothpaste commonly used is whether it is an acidic solution, neutral solution, basic solution, or the corrosive nature. So as we already know, whenever we are using any sugar type food, right? Sugar type food, our nature of the, pH of the solution will turns to 5.5. 5.55 means it will be the acidic in nature. So in order to remove this tooth decay, we are advised to use the toothbrush which is containing the basic solution, right? So option C will be the correct answer here. So whenever you are using the toothpaste, it should be containing the basic nature, not to balance the acidic solution formed in our tooth during the decay time. Now we are moving to the next question. So this part of question is very important. Assertion and reason type. Assertion is given ammonium chloride NH4Cl is a salt of strong acid and weak base. The reason is given that the aqueous solution of NH4Cl is basic in nature. So according to our syllabus, during the neutralization reaction, there will be salt and water is forming, right? So from the salt itself, we can identify the parent acid as well as the parent base. Then depending upon the nature of parent acid and parent base, we can define the nature of the salt also. So this is the basics behind this question. Okay, what will be the answer? You can give me the answer in comments. Okay, hi all. So how we can identify the parent acid as well as the parent base in the case of ammonium chloride, NH4Cl? So this is our salt, right? What we need to do first, we need to split the salt into cations and anions. So I am just breaking from here. So it will be NH4 plus cation and this is the Cl minus anion, right? Now what we need to do, as we already know, in the neutralization reaction, salt plus water is forming, right? Salt plus water is forming, right? So if I want to find out the parent acid or parent base of this salt, I will be taking water molecule, right? I will be taking water molecule. I am adding H2 as H plus and OH minus, right? H plus and OH minus. So what we need to do? We need to crisscross the cation with the OH minus and anion with the H plus ion. Okay, I hope you are understanding the method using here. So our parent acid will be HCl and parent base will be NH4OH. Is that clear? Hi Dipandita. Okay, I'm seeing your messages. I'm not mentioning your names. And Dipandita, I am from Kerala. So is the method is clear to everyone? How to find out the parent acid as well as the parent base for the salt. So here, as we already know, hydrochloric acid is a strong acid, right? Hydrochloric acid is strong acid and NH4OH is the weak base, right? NH4OH is the weak base. So our first assertion is true. Assertion is true or correct because the ammonium chloride is a salt of strong acid and weak base. This is a true statement. Then what about the case of second statement? I mean second reason given here. The aqueous solution of NH4Cl is basic in nature. Depending upon the parent acid and parent base, we can define the strength or the nature of the salt formed here, right? So this is a strong acid and weak base salt. So if we are mixing any of the strong acid and weak base together, we will be getting a salt having the nature of strength of the acid, right? Here the strength is more in the case of acid, so I am taking here it is acidic salt. So our reason is incorrect. It is given it is basic in nature, so we can just correct the statement as acidic in nature. So what will be the correct answer? Answer C will be the correct answer. Assertion is correct and reason is incorrect. Okay, I hope you understand how to find out the parent acid and parent base of a salt. Depending upon the nature of the acid and base formed, we will be defining the nature of the salt forming, whether it is acidic, basic or neutral. Now we are moving to the next question. Same type of question here. CH3CONA, sodium acetate, right? Sodium acetate in aqueous solution is basic in nature. And the reason is given here. It is a salt of a weak acid and a strong base. You need to identify whether the assertion and reason are true or false and if it is the correct explanation or not. Option B, right? Option A is our correct answer because both assertion and reason are correct and R is the correct explanation of A, right? How we can predict the nature of this salt given here, CH3CONA, right? So I am writing the salt given here. So split it into cation and anion, right? Acetate ion, this is the minus ion, this is the Na plus ion. So what we need to do next step, we need to add the water molecule as H plus and OH minus ion. So I am adding H plus ion with the anion given here, right? Here I am adding the OH minus ion, adding with the cation. So what will be the parent acid and parent base here? Parent acid is CH3COOH, which means acetic acid, right? Then base is NaOH, sodium hydroxide. So what is the nature of the acetic acid, whether it is strong acid or weak acid? Acetic acid is a weak acid, right? So this is a weak acid. And NaOH is a strong base. So if you are combining strong acid and strong base or weak acid and strong base here, the nature of the salt will be strength of the acid or base here, right? So it will be the basic solution. So the assertion is given CH3CON is an aqueous solution is basic in nature, as we already know. Then it is the salt of weak acid and the strong base, that is acetic acid and sodium hydroxide. So both the assertion and reason are true and it is the correct explanation. As acetic acid is the weak acid. Now we are moving to the next question. The pH of a solution at 25 degrees Celsius that contains 1 into 10 to the power minus 10 molar. We need to identify the pH of the solution having the H plus ion concentration as 10 to the power minus 10. Okay, is the term is new to you? pOH. Just like pH, depending upon the OH minus concentration, we can find out the pOH of a solution. Okay. Option B is our correct answer. So what we need to do first, here the H plus ion, hydronium ion or the H plus ion concentration is given, right? So if I am taking the H plus ion concentration here, pH can be find out as negative logarithm of the concentration of H plus. Right, so it will be negative logarithm of concentration is given here 1 into 10 to the power minus 10. So if you are solving here, I hope you must have idea about to solve the logarithm questions, right? So if you are solving here, it will be forming plus 10, right? Plus 10. So this is the pH of this solution. There will be another formula whenever we are taking pH and pOH together, right? pOH and pH together, it will be equal to 14. This is the ready-made formula you have to keep in mind. In the higher classes, we will be discussing about the derivation of this formula. So now we need to find out the pOH of the solution, right? How we can find out the pOH? We can take the difference between 14 and the pH. It will be equal to, pOH is equal to 14 minus pH, that is equal to 14 minus 10 here as option B 4. Is that clear? What do you mean by the pH? Negative logarithm of H plus ion, right? Similarly, we can define the pOH as negative logarithm of the concentration of OH minus ion. So this is the pOH value. According to our question, we need to find out the pH and pOH value together. So this is a ready-made formula. Whenever we are taking the sum of pH and pOH together, it will be equal to 14, right? So if in any of the question, if you are having the value of pH is equal to 1 to 10 or something, you can take the difference between 14 and the given value. Then you will get the value of pH and pOH respectively. Is that clear? Komal, share this session to your friends also, they will join. Okay, now we are moving to the next question. I hope you understand the method of finding the pOH and pH together. So here is the next question. Okay, what will be the answer for this question? Komal, myself Surya. I am the chemistry faculty from Infinity Learn. So what is the answer for this question? So in the acid, base and salt chapter, we have discussed about the different types of compounds. Right? We are starting about the washing soda, baking soda, bleaching powder, gypsum, plaster of Paris. Right? So here, which of the following is treated with chlorine to obtain bleaching powder? So we have discussed about the method of preparation of bleaching powder. Right? Okay, many of you are giving me the answer as option B. Yes, option B is the correct answer, calcium hydroxide, right? Calcium hydroxide. So whenever this calcium hydroxide is treating with chlorine, it will be forming the bleaching powder with formula CaOCl2. This is known as the bleaching powder, which is used as a disinfectant for the water, right? It is clearly mentioned in your textbook, the method of preparation of bleaching powder. Is that clear? Now we are moving to the next question. Ayush, is there any doubt related to the previous question? Read the question carefully. Which of the following identifies the white powdery substance with a strong smell of chlorine? And it is used for disinfecting drinking water supply at the water works. Provide its chemical name and the chemical reaction for the preparation. Okay, this question, right? Okay, we will be discussing. So what will be the answer? It's for the grade 10, our second chapter, acid, base and salts. Okay, option A, right? Yes, option A is the correct answer. We have already discussed in the previous question also, right? So the bleaching powder will be having a white powdery substance, white powder color, right? Many of you may be seen in your home. It will be used as a disinfectant in drinking water supply, right? During water supply, we are using as a disinfectant. This is known as the bleaching powder. The method of preparation of bleaching powder is the treatment of calcium hydroxide with chlorine. So this is the chemical formula of the bleaching powder, CaOCl2. Is that clear? Is the question is clear to everyone? Can we move to the next question? So here is the next question. We have studied about the type of indicators, right? We have seen the natural indicators like turmeric. Then we have seen the phenolphthalein, methyl orange and litmus test, right? So here you need to identify the color change of methyl orange in acidic and basic medium. Hi Kritika, good evening. Yes, option B is the correct answer, right? Option B is the correct answer. So methyl orange, as we already know, this is an indicator, right? What do you mean by indicator? Ayush, option B is the correct answer. This is in the case of phenolphthalein indicator. Okay, indicators means they are the colored dye. They will be having different colors in the acid solution as well as the basic solution, right? So in the case of methyl orange, they will be showing yellow color in the basic medium. If you are adding the methyl orange, drop of methyl orange indicator to the basic solution, it will be turn the color into the yellow color. Then if you are taking the acidic solution, right? If you are taking the acidic solution, the color change will be happen. Here it is red. Clear? Yes, indicator is the substance which tells us whether a substance is acidic or basic depending upon their color change, right? This is a trick to memorize the color change of the methyl orange. Here M stands for the methyl orange. Okay, all the capital letter will be the term to identify the color change here. A stands for acid here. Red means red color, right? So B stands for basic medium here. In the basic medium, methyl orange will show yellow color. Is that clear? Okay, fine. Now we are moving to the next question. The chemical formula of plaster of Paris. So there will be okay, many of you are giving me the option A as the correct answer. Yes, option A is the correct answer. CaSO4 dot half H2O, right? CaSO4 dot half H2O is known as the plaster of Paris. So these are the common substances used in our orthopedic doctors, right? They will be providing whenever you have any fractures in your bones, they will be suggested to use the plaster of Paris covering, right? Is that clear? Here is the next question. What is the chemical name of the baking soda? So we have studied about the baking soda and washing soda, right? You must have clear idea about what is the chemical names, chemical formula for the baking soda and the washing soda. Sodium bicarbonate or sodium carbonate, that is the question. Yes, option C is the correct answer. Sodium bicarbonate, right? Sodium bicarbonate. What is the chemical formula? NaHCO3, right? HCO3 stands for the bicarbonate. So this will be the sodium bicarbonate. This is the baking soda, right? Then what do you mean by the washing soda? It is sodium carbonate, right? Sodium carbonate. Dot 10H2, right? This is the exact chemical formula of the washing soda. So the chemical name of washing soda will be sodium carbonate. And baking soda will be sodium bicarbonate with the chemical formula NaHCO3. Okay, I hope you understand. Here is our next question. I think this will be the last question. Which element is not part of the chemical formula of gypsum? Read the question carefully. Which one is the not part of the chemical formula of the gypsum? So first you need to identify the chemical formula of the gypsum, then identify the elements present in the gypsum. So what will be the chemical formula of gypsum? CaSO4.2H2 is known as the gypsum, right? CaSO4.5H2 is known as the plaster of Paris. CaSO4.2H2 is known as the gypsum here. So calcium is already present here. This is sulfur atom, oxygen atom and hydrogen atom. These are the 4 different atoms present in the gypsum molecule. So the only one which is not present here is the sodium, right? So option D will be the correct answer. Is that clear, everyone? This is all from my side for today. I have prepared only few questions from the acid, base and salts chapter. So what we have studied in that chapter, we have studied about the acids, right? We have studied about the acids. They will be having the sour taste. They will be changing the I have already had the answers, no? So in the case of acid, they will be changing the blue litmus to red color, and bases are changing the red litmus to blue color. Depending upon the litmus test, we can identify the acids and bases, right? Then we have studied about the indicators like methyl, orange, phenolphthalein and the natural indicators. Then what we have studied? We have studied about the salts formed by the reaction of acid and base due to the neutralization reaction. Then last we have studied about the 5 different compounds in the case of bleaching powder, washing soda, baking soda, gypsum and plaster of Paris. That's all about the complete chapter of acid, base and salts. Try to revise by today itself. If you have any doubt, you can ask, otherwise we can wind up the session for today. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the session. If you really like the session, hit the like button, subscribe our channel and share this particular session to your friends also. It will be helpful for them also. Then if you want to get the PDF of this, PDF of this session, you need to join our Telegram channel, Infinity Learn 9 and 10 Telegram channel. You will be getting the PDF after all the classes there. Okay, then thank you so much all of you. See you in the next class. In the next class, I am going to discuss the next chapter, that is carbon and its compound, our 4th chapter from the science syllabus. I will be revising the same chapter through some questions here. Tomorrow the same time 5 to 6 here. So see you in the next class. Bye bye all of you. Thank you so much.